Hello, my name's Katie and today I'm going to be telling you another story about Moses. Just putting on my boots first, because in this story, Moses goes for a very, very, very long walk. Right up a mountain. And when I go walking up mountains, I like to wear boots. Don't know about you. Have you ever been up a tall mountain before? It's hard work. Right, I've got my boots, got my stick, got my flask for later. Let's go. In this story, Moses, who was the leader of God's special people, was really old. Actually, he was really, really old. Who's the oldest person that you know? How old do you think Moses was? 20? 30? 40? Older? 1,056,000? That's a good guess. No, Moses was 120 years old, which is even older than the Queen. That's pretty old. God told Moses that it was almost time for Moses to stop being the leader of the people of Israel, and that a man named Joshua, who was one of Moses' helpers, was going to be the new leader. This is what the Bible says about it. Now, Joshua was full of wisdom, for Moses had laid his hands on him. And as all Israel watched, he said to him, "Be strong and courageous, for you will lead these people into the land that the Lord promised their great ancestors that he would give to them." Do you know what ancestors are? It's like your great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandparents, people who lived a long time ago. That's a long, long time. And God made a promise to them that one day he would give them a very special present, a new place to live. God always keeps his promises, always. Sometimes we have to wait a while. But very soon, the people of Israel were going to get what God had promised them. Moses encouraged Joshua to be brave and strong. He said, "Do not be afraid or discouraged, for the Lord will personally go ahead of you. He will be with you, and he will neither fail you or give up on you." That's so good to hear, isn't it? Have you ever had to go somewhere new and felt a bit worried or nervous? Where have you been? Maybe nursery or a new school, or perhaps you've moved up into a new class. Or maybe you've been to a really big play place or visited somebody's house that you've not been to before. It can be a bit scary, can't it? Or maybe, like the people of Israel, you've moved to a new place to live. God says, "Do not be afraid or discouraged. I will personally go with you." I love knowing that God's with me. Back to the story. Moses set off on his last long journey. I don't think he had walking boots, but maybe he had a stick in case he felt a bit wobbly or tired, or maybe to get rid of any snakes or lizards that were on the path. Moses walked and walked. It was a long way. To start with, it was green and flat. There were a few flowers, but as it got steeper, it was getting a bit rocky and dusty. The hill started to climb. He was climbing right up to the top of a mountain called Mount Nebo. Oh, phew, nearly there. Have you ever climbed a big hill? I think I asked you before, didn't I? Where have you been? Oh, you have? It's exhausting, isn't it? Finally, Moses reached the top. At last, he'd done it. Time for a nice cup of tea? I wonder what he did when he got there. When he reached the top, there was a fantastic view. God showed him the whole land. It says in the Bible that he could see many, many places. Now, The other day I climbed to the top of St Catherine's Hill near Winvin, and I could see lots of Winchester. I could see Badger's Farm and Oliver's Battery and the city centre and even a little bit of Winnell. I wonder if I could see your house from there. Well, God showed Moses hills, rivers, cities. He showed him all the way to the sea. And he said to Moses, "This is the land I've promised to you." Oh, I've come back inside because it was so chilly out there. And it was quite windy too. Did you hear it? Sorry about that. Anyway, back to the story. So Moses climbed to the top of Mount Nebo and God showed him a fantastic view. It was a little bit like this picture here. This is a photograph of the view that Moses would have seen from Mount Nebo. Look at all those mountains, and then down in the valley, all the green trees and plants. It was a beautiful land. God showed Moses hills, rivers, cities, all the way to the sea. And he said to Moses, "This is the land I've promised to your people. I've allowed you to see it, but you will not enter the land." Oh, that's sad. It really is sad that Moses didn't get to go into the land. It wasn't in today's story, but this is because on a different occasion, Moses didn't trust God and obey him. And sometimes when we don't trust and obey God, it means we don't get to enjoy all of the good things that he has for us. This was Moses' last walk. He soon died after this. But now it was time for a new leader, Joshua. He was the new leader of the people of Israel.